Hi, good afternoon everybody. It's good to be with you this afternoon. We're doing something a little bit different than what we've done in our previous Facebook postings, and I want to first of all introduce Chief Meckel, Chief of our fire department here in Boerne, who's been so kind to open up your doors and let us walk through and see what goes on.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate being on.
You betcha. One of the things that I wanted to point out to everybody is what you're seeing in the background right now are the front bays that go out to Main Street, and that's probably what 95% of all the residents of Boerne have seen over the years. But that's as far as it goes. Let me tell you about this truck right over here. This is the most recent one that was purchased 3 years ago. And this little gem right here was put on a tax note, and it was, again, paid for 3 years ago, and it was $530,000. Today, this same truck, only 3 years, is probably north of $600,000. As you can imagine, this particular facility here right now operates off of an annual budget of just a little bit more than $2 million. We get a little bit of more than $400,000 from the county to help us with the facility, because not only are we addressing the citizens and the residents of Boerne, but also we've got interlocal agreements and we have got regional agreements with the other 6 units that are throughout the entire county that we will assist if they need help. Many of you think that the only thing that the fire department responds to are going to be fire. This last year, we've only been called out on 6 of those, I believe.
6 structures.
But you've responded to over 600 calls, because they may include helping somebody up that has fallen, might be going to a brush fire, it might be going to an EMS call, or a car accident someplace. So there are a number of other calls that happen, in addition to just simply what we've got in our mind as fire calls themselves. So, follow me. Chief and I are going to take you back, show you some of the quarters that most of you have probably never seen before. Going back throughout the bay here, the other thing that I want to point out, for the last almost 2 years, what we have got is our EMS brothers down the road. They are building a new facility. That new facility's been under construction for about 20 months. They've been housed in our back facility here. Their guys have been bunking with our guys, eating with our guys. It's been a good little process, and that has been no cost to the county to be able to house the EMS services here. So, Sam, follow me over here. Chief, I want to stop here just for a moment and get a picture of this, because we have got 4 to 5, 24/7 full-time fire department on duty all the time. We started making that transition about 13 years ago when we went from an all-volunteer force to now full-time firefighters and volunteers. But so if you're on duty right now, here's what you've got, and walk us through what is sitting right here.
Absolutely. What we have here, we have the officer's helmet, coat, pants, radio, and also with this ensemble, he would have a breathing apparatus on a structure fire and a thermal camera that goes on his helmet. Thermal camera is about a $10,000 item. Breathing apparatus is about $7,500. The handheld radio is about $4,500. $1,000 for a coat, $1,000 for a pant, and so the list just goes on and on. He's a very expensive individual once he starts fighting fires. But all needed equipment, and to keep everybody safe, the firefighters safe, and also the public.
Right, and I think to give you all a little bit of an idea of what we're talking about in terms of expense. A new firefighter and all of his benefits is about $55,000 to $60,000. Now you add up the equipment the chief just went through, starting with a $1,000 coat and a $1,000 pair of pants. You've got a pretty good investment. And we've got that investment out driving a $530,000.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go back here where our full-time firefighters are back here in their living quarters.
straight this way.
This hallway down here are individual bedrooms because these full-time firefighters, these 4 or 5 that we've been talking about that are on call 24/7, they've got sleeping quarters and a little bit of desk. And here is an example of one right in here. Chief, if you would slip in there.
Absolutely.
And these are the living quarters for one of our firefighters. And I noticed there, Chief, on the bed is called Adam's Map Book. Tell everybody a little bit about the map book.
Absolutely, Mayor. Every morning when the shifts come on duty, they'll sit down at the breakfast table and they'll pass on information. And then while they're passing on information from the past shift, they'll also be doing a street test for the city and sometimes for the county as far as specific areas. They'll take a section of the city right here that has nothing but blank lines, well, a response area of a part of the city, for example, like Saddlehorn, with no streets named on it, and then they will fill that out and then compare it with the check sheet right here. So it's a memory, knowing your territory. So when a call comes in, they know instantly where they're going, and they don't have to depend on dispatch to say give them directions to get there. Even with GPS nowadays and all your aid that you can have with your vehicles, this knowing it firsthand right off when the call comes in is much faster and much quicker.
So that's their memory book, and in that book also, when they get to a particular street, what is marked on there also are where the fire hydrants
Absolutely.
are, which would be very important
Absolutely.
when they get there to the fire,
A
right?
very key component. Absolutely.
All right, let's step back in here and give you a little bit of idea of the dining facilities that they have got. You can span this real quick if you would and give a little bit of idea. This is the best kept secret in town. You really want a great meal. Unfortunately, it's not open to the public. You can see that the utilities they have, and these guys pride themselves in the kind of meals that they cook up going from one shift to another shift.
Absolutely, Mayor.
We'll go down this hallway here. We've got the physical fitness room, very important. And all of our firefighters stay fit, are in good condition, so we provide the facilities, hence no excuses on why they wouldn't be in outstanding shape at all times. You can imagine after you put on all that gear that was pointed out a little bit earlier, the additional weight that they put on themselves, and now they're running to hook up hoses, now they're going up ladders, they're running around to assess where the fire is.
Absolutely.
They're carrying another, how many more pounds around are there?
25, 30 pounds.
25, 30 pounds.
Absolutely.
They got to be in good shape.
They do.
There's no question about that.
Especially as hot as it is.
Yes. Well, this old mayor is not going to be able to do that. This is another interesting room, the training room. Chief, walk through a little bit about what happens in this room here. We see a little baby and we see some apparatuses in here. What kind of process is going on here?
Absolutely. We're set up right now to one of our fire inspectors that he teaches CPR to the rest of the city employees, and he's set up to teach a class early in the morning. So he's got it set up now. He had one earlier today, and so he's set up for that. This is also where we meet with the volunteers and the career staff and have our training. We have all the high-tech aids, from visual aids to the internet, that we can review stuff, that training stuff off YouTube or just regular training videos. And then from there, to improve our skills.
Very good. All right, we got one more stop. Let's go down to your office, Chief, and we'll see if we can wrap it all up right there. We're all following you.
Okay.
Just a couple of other points that I want to bring out for everyone viewing that this afternoon. As you can tell, this is a wonderful facility. This was added to and kind of renovated, if you will, back from the Quality of Life Bond in 2007. I think all those renovations got done right around 10, 11,
11,
somewhere
March
right in
11.
there.
Yes, sir. That's the one.
Now, because of our population and firefighters, one of the important things, and also on your insurance premiums, is our response time to be able to get to a fire call. We know that in the not too distant future, we're going to be looking at a couple of other fire stations. Keep in mind, we've got some ground that has been given to us by Esperanza for a fire station, so we've got some place out east. But we also need one down on the south end. We've got some space behind the fire department. Also, we have been in negotiations with some space there at Regent Park. But remember, this will not be an easy process to be able to duplicate, and it won't be this big, but you're talking about probably a 3-bay building.
Correct.
But we're going to have to find the land, put the building up. You already know what one of those trucks cost for $500,000-$600,000. You need 2 or 3 of them. You need more personnel to come on to be able to man that again on a 24/7 basis. So that is quite an influx of dollars, Chief.
Absolutely. And as you said, Mayor, we are looking to try to possibly do a temporary station down behind PD in the next 3 years or so. We'd like to put a temporary down there with some personnel until the Esperanza develops a little farther. There is a part of the development agreement, it has to be a certain number of homes in there prior to us moving out there. And also the same way, like you said, with Regent Park. Right now, there's no access to the property where we would put a fire station. So there's some variables, and to cover that gap in there, we would like to put a temporary down to the south end.
The other one I want to make sure that we get covered, because I know it's something that you're working on right now. We would call it GPS, but I don't want to give that out exactly what we've been using it for, and that's that global positioning system on each one of our red lights going through downtown. Explain to everybody what that does.
That is a traffic preemption system that we had installed. It's called Opticom, and it allows emergency vehicles as they're responding to get a green light. It activates up to a half mile before they get to the light, which in turns everything else red other than the path that they're traveling. Makes it safer for the public, makes it safer for the responders. It opens their avenue up. It is even a smart enough system that if they want to turn left, when they turn their signal on, it gives them the left arrow so it stops all the traffic that way. Or if they're going straight, it just shuts everything off and they go straight. So it's a very good program to work. We've had it in service now about a year. Haven't heard any complaints from personnel or the public, and that is always a good sign.
Right.
It keeps the intersection basically locked up for us to pass through. I believe it's somewhere around 60 seconds, a little over.
Good.
So it's
Just
a real
maybe
good program.
just one thing to add there. That's fine for the intersecting traffic, but the other thing that I want to put out there, if you're going in the same direction as or either direction, an opposite direction, to any kind of an emergency vehicle, be that EMS, be it fire department or police, remember everyone, the courtesy, the right thing to do, by law what you must do, pull over as far to your right as you can to make room for these vehicles. Chief, thanks so much for the tour today.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate that. We're hopeful that this has given you a pretty good idea of anything about the police department. Now what we'll do is we're going to get a fire alarm. Great timing. I don't know how we did that. But here in a couple of weeks we will be out at the Boerne Police Department giving you a similar tour out there to an area that most of you have not seen. So thanks again so much. And if there are questions or comments, please write on this Facebook page. We will save them up. We will address them as they come in, or we'll save them up and we'll take care of them at this time. Be safe out there. Thank you.